Questions, 3 minutes questions. Olivier, join us.
Hi. Our patent pending innovation focuses on software development and localization and addresses some issues around especially human delays, also cost and minimum charges, but developers should not have to wait for translations. Increasingly, the rate of deployment is really fast, and developers need to create applications that need to be deployed really fast, sometimes on the day. And then when you have an application that's deployed, how do you correct the translation that has been created by translators or TMSs or MT? So typically our products sit in between a Git repo or some kind of repository where the application resides, and then a TMS. Sometimes we provide context there. But in this approach here, we first start with machine translation, which is pretty much immediate. And then as the application is deployed, you can make corrections to those translations. So that can happen in a QA step during development, but that can happen much later on when the application is even in the field. So developers, traditionally, they will add their files to a repository, and Localizer, which is one of our products, analyzes the files that are in the repository to detect which strings need to be translated. They send that to the translation engine, machine translation in that instance, which is returned pretty much immediately. And then Localizer updates the corresponding translated files in the repository so the application can be deployed with 7 languages if you want. So this is what happens if you have ENUS or American English as your source locale, and developers are adding some files there. A few seconds later, you will have the translation that is available to them in Spanish, French, German, and so on. How do you correct that? Well, we have a product called Localizer QA. That's really the innovation here. And that product communicates with Localizer, and Localizer in turn updates the files in the repository. What does that look like? Here's an application where a reviewer, a French dog with little mustaches or something from Christopher's presentation, is looking at it and says, Corvette? No, that's not good. Frégate, that's the good French. So that correction they want to make, they go to Localizer QA, they enter that correction, and that will make its way from Localizer QA to Localizer to Bitbucket or the repository. And so you were seeing here, Corvette has been changed to Frégate. Once the application is deployed, you will see the correction. So what are the advantages here? The first one is you get instant translation or close enough. And the second one, at different level of your deployment, you will be able to make corrections, and they will be handled automatically by a fully automated process down to the repository. Thank you.
Olivier, rebels with a cause, but the force is with them?
The force is with us, yeah.
All right, let's see if the force is with the dragons or they're from the dark side.
Uh-oh.
Thanks, Olivier. That looks like a very interesting solution. I would be interested in learning more about the access, the permissions rights that these linguists would need, since usually software development is a very secure environment and developers aren't very comfortable with strangers accessing their code.
No, we're not.
What are the requirements around that?
The requirements around who can use Localizer?
Yeah, who's accessing? How is that GitHub check-in?
Yeah, so typically it might be an LSP who has username profiles inside of Localizer QA. And then there are a number of tokens that can communicate back to Localizer, which itself has a certain security around from Localizer to the repo. So there's a whole chain of actual security around it. And also, maybe I didn't mention that, but it could be LSPs that are reviewing the application and the corrections. But it could also be somebody during the QA process for a linguistic review, or it'll be down the line. So it can be really right away, or it can be as the application has been deployed for a year maybe.
My question is, once the update is made to the translation to the MT, does that correction, then that feedback, is that, you know, feeding into a TM, or is it, you know, training the MT? Where does it go? Like, does the error is the error gonna repeat itself, or is it gonna
No,
be
that's
fixed?
a really good question. So we have different deployments. One of them is to update, first of all, the transition memory on the transition engine side. But then at some point, because training takes a little bit of time, at punctual times, you will decide to actually update the full engine with training based on the changes that were made from Localizer QA. Yeah, thank you.
One final thing, Olivier. Can I connect to any MT that I want?
So right now we have 4 machine transition engines, and we might connect 2 more.
Cool.
Yeah, Jonathan.
Brilliant. Well, thank you, Olivier.
Yeah, all right.